Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Tayler and
Colleen.
And it's episode 10.
I know, we're so excited.
It's kind of crazy though, because I feel like we've been recording, like it feels longer,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like 10. But I feel, well, we started pre-recording them, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. Well, and we put a lot of like effort into it. So like there's a lot of like behind the scenes that
Planning and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I agree. So you mentioned we should talk about what we did this weekend. We had a little spooky outing and we went to the Peterson house, which is in Tempe, Arizona?
Tempe,
or
yeah.
Phoenix. Okay. I think it's like kind of borderline, right?
Yeah.
But basically it's like a historic house that was built in the 1800s, and we're going to release a video.
Yeah.
Or a little, a fun video.
So they did say that the house, like, and I don't know if like haunted, because remember we interacted with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But as we were leaving, a girl stopped us and she's like, "Are you guys the ones that are like?" Because we talked to them. We got their information. We might potentially do like a live recording from one of the historical houses.
Yeah.
And
wait, we really?
That's what they said. I told you.
You didn't tell me that.
Oh
my god. That's so cool. Though.
Yeah, that lady Jen that I was talking to, she gave me her information.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh, okay. I knew you gave her our information, but I didn't know what it was for.
So I gave her our information because they were like taking a picture of the group that we were with. And I was like, if you want to tag the podcast, like we would love that. And then, but before,
Wait,
before.
Really? Buffet?
I was trying to say
like that
way
word.
before, and I think I just combined. Before
New word.
Yeah, again, wouldn't be a podcast without one. But so when we were in the kitchen, that woman that was sitting in there, me and Samantha stayed behind when we were talking with her, and she's telling us all about these like other houses because she runs the whole like historical society.
Yeah.
And so she was telling us about all these different houses, and then we actually started talking about the baseline killer. And
okay, yeah, because you were missing for a little bit.
Yeah, so I was talking with her.
No, you're fine.
I love that you weren't concerned. You're like, she's fine.
I was like, she's probably asking questions and stuff. I already know.
But so then when I came upstairs, the guy upstairs is her husband.
Yeah. And
so they were very lovely.
They were. Everyone there was so nice.
So nice. But anyway, so we were saying it was spooky. It was, but so as we're leaving, because I had talked to, but we had all talked to both of those. They're like tour guides, but they're also like the liaisons for, like they work full time protecting these historical houses and stuff.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they were amazing. And this woman stops us and she's like, "Are you guys the ones with the podcast?" And we were like, "Yeah." And so she starts telling us about the house, but she seemed to be very clear that it's like, it's not haunted in the sense of like, it's like
not like a typical scary haunting, but she said there is a presence here, but it's a happy presence. And it's more just like the owners looking after their home pretty much. And I don't know if maybe we can email her and ask her if we could like tell that story that she told us. And we'll save that for the video.
Yeah. But no, she was very lovely. And she was she was so knowledgeable. Like she was just spouting out facts like crazy. I was like,
I noticed that too. And I was like, dang, I wish I was that good at that. Like, can you give me tips?
I was like, how did you get this way?
No, I don't think I'll ever be on that level, but that was really cool.
I was like, where's your laptop? Where's your iPad? Right?
And she, so she had a YouTube where she did creepy pastas and what can you say it? Because I don't know how to say
Madame Macabre.
Okay, it was Madame Macabre. And when I was putting it in my notes, it auto-corrected to Madame Macaroni. So that's just showing the difference. Like hers is probably really good.
Yeah. And she said she's like
laughing.
She was so cool. Sorry, We should have asked to have permission to talk about her, but she was really cool.
No, I think we're good because it's not like we're name drop. Well, I guess.
Don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
We already said the YouTube. But that's more of a fake name.
Mm-hmm.
And it's social media. So.
We were just very impressed by her. And again, people we think we're like best friends with probably don't know.
We were just really excited to hear scary stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we want to also go to their other locations because there's the Rotham house. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
And that one looks spooky. That I was reading up on that earlier. So
they also had, I texted it to you, but I can't remember what it was, but she was telling me about
the castle.
The castle, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that they had some things in, like, the whole thing is, like, everything in the house is historically correct. So they will sometimes move things around, but, like, they had some things from, like, other locations within the house. So when she was telling me about it, she's like, this is actually from the other house. And I was like, what?
Wait, when you say historically correct, do you mean, like, it has all the original pieces?
Not all the original pieces. It's like either, they try to keep it as like close to, but I think like some of it is like replicated, but like.
I like when they do that. Yeah. It's cool because it makes you feel like, that's what it was like when it was there. So yeah, I really like that. Very cool.
It was really fun. We went with a group of friends.
We did. We had a little girls' day. We all dressed like in our florals and I guess florals.
Yeah.
Well,
I lost that.
I feel like I didn't really. Colleen like nailed it. No. Like her outfit was so cute, like on point. Like from the purse to the sunglasses, like everything. And mine was just like a floral dress I had in my closet.
I looked like
this'll do.
I looked like if Wednesday Addams like was dressing as Kris Jenner. Like,
it was perfection. Okay,
well, thank you.
It was like Wednesday Addams went to a tea party,
but everybody else was in floral.
I feel like you just stood out though. It was cute.
Thanks, but my social anxiety was at an all-time high.
And I bought gloves to kind of go with yours, and then I kept forgetting to put them on. In the pictures, I have them on like one time. I was like, come on. Dude.
Yeah.
I literally ordered these.
I will say that was the smart move is I bought the fingerless gloves.
That was very smart.
That was the move, yeah.
Because I could not text with mine.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kept taking them off, where I'd have like one on one hand, and then the other hand didn't have one, so. Ridiculous. Okay, well, I feel like we've been chatting for a little bit. Should I get into my story?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just super excited. Episode 10.
I know. It's a big celebration. And I put batteries in our little flashlights. So we can, I don't know, can you hear the click? Oh, blinded myself
into it.
I thought it was under my chin. Oh, do I look cool?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
But you scared Peter, I think, again.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Peter. Why am I scaring you?
I think he's okay.
Okay.
If I click mine, do you think it'll scare him?
Try it.
Did it? I tried to hide a little bit.
I think so. I mean, he looks surprised. You know what? I wonder if it's the light too. Yeah, it's the click.
Okay.
He's a little scaredy cat, so.
Okay, sorry, PD.
It's okay, PD. Go to bed. Go to sleep over there. Okay.
This is your bedtime story, Pete.
It is. Let me pull up my story. Okay, Colleen, I've got something to tell you. All right, so in our last episode, I was telling you about how I was kind of like inspired by my friend sending me a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the TikTok video a little bit because it is a really interesting story, and then go into the story that it reminded me of while I was reading.
Okay.
Okay. So the TikTok user is Ashley Inc., and we'll note her in the show notes with like the video and everything, so everyone can watch it. And she shared a story of one of her listeners named Alex/Aurora. So, the year is 1989. She says she was 24, named Alex, and went by Allie from Missouri. She explains her physical features and family members in vivid detail, down to the personality traits, careers, and childhood experiences. And even religion. She had a fiancé named Ben who was from Illinois. Allie and Ben met in college their freshman year. They went to Washington State in St. Louis. Ben majoring in IT and Allie majoring in pre-law. She was accepted to NYU for law school. So Allie and Ben ended up moving to New York so that she could go to law school. They lived in a small apartment that her dad helped them pay for. And then they adopted a small brown dog named Maisie.
Aww.
And just like, oh.
Tayler.
The dog, I think it's fine. Okay. It's fine. So, yeah. Allie and Ben and their dog Maisie are all living together in New York. And one night they stayed in, they ordered some Chinese food and watched a movie. So they're all huddled up on the couch with Maisie when 3 robbers break into their home. They tied up Ben and Alex, or Allie, and held them at gunpoint. The robbers are going through the apartment looking for things to take, and they're just kind of like watching them.
I think I know this one.
You do?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just got really excited.
And I'm glad you're excited. So.
Yeah.
So, they're going through the house and they're seeing whatever they can take from the apartment. And then Allie starts hearing the phone ringing. She thinks it's her sister Ellie, who said she'd call that night because she was going on a date and she was kind of waiting to hear about it. So that's going through her mind as the phone is ringing. And the next thing Allie remembers is hearing a gunshot and then everything going black. So then Allie wakes up in an apartment and hears a phone ringing, but it wasn't her apartment. She looks down and she's no longer restrained, but she also isn't in the same body that she was. She's in a much smaller body that belongs to a 9-year-old girl named Aurora. She says it was the most horrifying experience as she looked around the house trying to figure out where she was and what happened, until Aurora's parents found her hysterical. She couldn't identify the parents. They tried to jog her memory, but nothing came of it. She didn't remember anything up until the current day. Mm-hmm. She only remembered being Allie for the last 24 years. Only now the year was 2002. And now she's wondering if Alex, Ellie, Ben, or Maisie ever existed. And if she really died at gunpoint. And so now she's searching records for New York City of like robberies and those types of things. Yeah. But New York City with all of those, that's really common there. And she hasn't been able to find anything.
Which, like, especially if it's not, for lack of a better phrase, like a big story.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to get lost. You know what I mean?
Like, unfortunately, that's like a multiple a day thing.
Yeah, there. Like it's sad, but... Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was sipping my tea.
ASMR.
Thank you. Why did I say thank you? Okay, anyway. So have you heard that one?
Okay, no, I thought it was going to be something different.
I mean, okay, so these fall under a glitch in the Matrix, and there's tons of these stories, and they're super common. And so before we get too into that, I want to get into the next one, and then we'll talk about theories and what we think.
And maybe I just don't jump ahead assuming I know things when I
feel like I've done that with your story, too.
I was over here like, I got this.
You're like, I know this one. And maybe like, you can tell the one that you know after this.
I don't feel like I remember the detail. Well, I'll look into it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so the next story is from a 13-year-old Reddit thread. So it is old.
Whoa.
And again, I'll link the user because I'm not even going to try to say this one. So this one was under the original question on Ask Reddit on the Ask Reddit thread, where someone asked, have you ever felt a deep personal connection to a person you met in a dream, only to wake up feeling terrible because you realize they never existed?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this one was under. And it got deleted from that thread, and now it's under Glitch in the Matrix. So, okay. And he never says his name, so I'm going to call him Mark, but that's not his real name. Because he speaks in first person, so like you never hear his name. So I kind of had.
Why'd you choose Mark?
I've been watching a lot of Severance. Thanks for the question. I am obsessed right now. Okay. So Mark starts out by saying he met this wonderful girl. She made his heart skip a beat and made him red in the face. He pursued her for several months and watched her go through a few asshole boyfriends before he ended up winning her over. They eventually got married, and after 2 years of marrying his best friend, they had a daughter together. He had a well-paying job that he loved, and his wife didn't have to work and was able to stay home with their daughter. Mm-hmm. When their daughter turned 2, his wife got pregnant with their second child, and they had a boy. His kids were the joy of his life, and every morning before work, he'd go into their rooms just to say good morning, and he was like filled with gratitude. Like he really goes into detail like how much he loved these kids. So he has like this perfect life. He married his best friend. He loves his kids. He has a great paying job. She gets to stay home. So great life.
Yeah.
So one day while he's sitting on the couch, he noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd. Like it was almost inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. And for context, it was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on 4 legs and a white square shade. He was transfixed and he couldn't look away from it. He stayed up all night staring at it, and the next morning he didn't even go to work. Something was just not right about this lamp. You know this story?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He stopped eating, and he left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon he stopped that too, as he wasn't eating or drinking. Mark stared at the lamp for 3 days before his wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to him, and by this time his cognizance was breaking up and his wife was freaking out.
What?
She took the kids to her mother's house just before he had his epiphany. The lamp isn't real. The house isn't real. His wife, his kids, none of it's real. And the last 10 years wasn't real.
What?
I know. And it makes me kind of sad for him because that would be insane.
Yeah. Wait, why does he have that? What?
I know. So the lamp started to grow wider and wider. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up his entire perspective, and all he could see was red. And then he started hearing voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises. And he became aware of pain. And in his words, a shit ton of pain. The first words he said were, "I'm missing teeth." And he opened his eyes. He was laying on his back in the sidewalk surrounded by people that he didn't know. And like people were like freaking out and he was just confused.
Oh my God.
And at some point, a cop scooped him up and walked him across the sidewalk. And he said threw him face down into a cop car, which I'm like, aggressive, but okay. And he was still confused. He was taken to a hospital. What were you going to say?
I am too.
He was taken to the hospital by the cop and given CT scans. So his last semester at a certain college, he was assaulted by a football player for walking where the football player was trying to drive. And as a note, the football player was 325 pounds and he was 120.
Oh.
So he knocked his ass unconscious on the ground. And so while he was unconscious, he lived a completely different life.
Whoa.
So he went through about 3 years of horrid depression. He was grieving the loss of his wife and children and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. He was scared that he was going insane and he would cry himself to sleep. because he would like dream, because like to him it was real.
Yeah, that's insane.
And
or not insane, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, both.
Yeah.
He hoped that he would see his wife in his dreams, and he never has. But sometimes he would see his son, but usually just a glimpse, like in the peripheral, he says. And he says he's trying to talk to him, but like he can't understand. That part made me sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was his story. And so obviously, I think in his, he did say he had a head injury, but that doesn't make it any less valid of like how real it was to him.
Yeah.
And I have a few theories on like both scenarios. Yeah, and I want to hear what you think too.
Okay.
So the first one that I have is remembering a past life, because our past lives live in our subconscious. He could be vividly reliving the experience in a dream, and it could feel real because it was real at one point.
Right.
So that's my first one.
Okay.
And then the second one, quantum leaping or jumping timelines. So because there are infinite possibilities and timelines that exist in the universe, and I mean, not everybody believes this, by the way, but I do.
Yeah.
It's very much possible to essentially leapfrog your way into a different timeline. This allows your conscious to experience the reality of that timeline that you leaped into. And I also read about this, that like we're constantly quantum leaping, like just waking up in the morning and like if you change a decision that you're originally going to do, you're changing timelines because there's all these different possibilities now that can unfold.
Have you ever seen Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow?
No.
I feel like you'd really like that. That's exactly what it's about. And it's like she makes like it starts off at the beginning of the day and she makes one decision and then it's both storylines that lead.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to watch that.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I feel like it would hold up. So
yeah. No, I'll watch it because I like those kind of movies. And I just like these kinds of things. Like this is another Reddit thread. Okay. You can go down a rabbit hole with like the timeline or jumping timelines. Yeah. And then the last theory I have, it's called a walk-in. And people believe that it's possible for the original soul of a human to leave a person's body. And this was more related to the first story, not the second one. To leave a person's body for another soul to walk in. And it's based off Ruth Montgomery's work, who published the book Strangers Among Us. Souls are said to walk in during a period of intense personal problems on the part of the departing soul, or during or because of an accident or trauma. And some other walk-ins describe their entry as occurring based on a prior agreement, like a soul contract, like we kind of talked about in the last episode. And when the previous soul was like complete with their contract. And so the walk-in soul retains the memories of the original personality, but does not have like the emotions associated with the memories. So as they integrate, they bring their own mental, emotional, and spiritual consciousness and evolve into that person, I guess. So I kind of feel like the first story, that one kind of like sounds similar to that because she didn't remember being Aurora at all. And she also didn't remember the parents or anything like that. She was just so tied to that other life. So, yeah. What do you think?
Well, I know I just made a movie recommendation, but with the Aurora one, it kind of reminded me of like the butterfly effect. Remember? Like anytime like something, and I'm going to butcher this, but
I don't remember it that well, but I remember really liking that movie.
Like it would be like anytime that he would have something that was like stressful in his life, he'd almost like quantum leap back to like a different part of himself. And like he would have like a seizure or something. I might be screwing this up a little bit.
No, I think you're right.
And so it was like his way, because like they say that with like people with multiple personalities, and that might not be the right phrase to use, but they create these personalities in order to escape something. Like a lot of them are like severely abused, and so they create these personalities in order to protect like the
original
primary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, not that I think it was like multiple personalities or anything like that, but I was just like, that's kind of where my mind went of like, it's not like especially with the guy that was getting attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like maybe it was kind of a quantum leap of like he was going to like some other life or like something like that. Cause like the human mind is amazing.
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know. I don't know that I have any like solid theories.
That's okay. I just want to know what you thought about those ones. They're all like pretty different, little out there, but yeah, I love that stuff. And like I said, I can go down rabbit holes on all of those, like the glitch in the matrix, the timeline jumping,
and like the whole like mandala effect thing.
Wait, which one's that again?
It's like it's a conspiracy theory where like they're erasing things from history slowly to see. Yeah. So like I guess that's not like super like relevant, but it reminded me of it.
It kind of is because they're all kind of. I feel like they all kind of go into that category of just like weird
glitch
stuff.
in the matrix. Yeah, glitch in the matrix. Like, what do you mean you don't remember this? Like, I remember this so vividly, kind of thing. And they're like trying to tell us not to. Yeah.
I know. I feel like I could totally see that happening though. Like the fruit of the loom thing. Did you see that?
Or like, what is it? The Shazam with.
Oh yeah.
Is it Shazam with Sinbad?
Kazam, isn't it? Or is it Shazam?
Maybe I'm getting.
Wait, no, I feel like it's me.
I know there's the genie thing, and there's like two. There's one with Sinbad and there's one with Shaq. And it was like one of them is completely erased from history. Like you can't find it.
Yeah. I know. That is.
But the fruit of the loom one I know for.
Yeah, I remember the one you're talking about too, but now like I can't remember.
I can't remember which one it was. Like.
I don't think I even saw either of those movies though either, so I can't really relate to it. But yeah, that was my story.
I loved that.
Good.
I'll have to look up the one that I was thinking of because I feel like you'd really. I mean, maybe you already know it too, though.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many. I maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I'll find it and send it to you.
Okay. Cool. Dang it! I was gonna say something and I totally just forgot. It's okay.
Glitch. It's a glitch.
I'm malfunctioning. Hold on. I'm jumping timelines. Okay. Well, do you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, we gotta jump to a different dimension real fast.
BRB. And we're back.
What dimension did you go to?
I don't know. Caveman dimension.
Oh, that's cool.
What dimension did you go to?
I don't know.
I feel like you went to the Queen Anne period with your black truth.
Yeah. I'm out there cutting people's heads off.
Beheading everybody.
Yeah. They're like changing
heads
history.
are rolling.
All right. So I've got something to tell you. And this being episode 10, I really... Sorry, I changed my story so many times today because I wanted to do something really good for episode 10.
I did not even think about that.
And maybe I took it a little too seriously because it was...
No, I feel like I should have thought about it.
No. Yours was so
10.
good. I loved
thank
yours.
you.
Okay, so I'm calling this the A-list scandal with cannibalism.
Wow.
So I forgot about this story, and then I was like, once I remembered it, I was like, yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I am covering the insane case of Armie Hammer.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. Armie Hammer is like, he was in The Social Network.
Uh-huh.
He plays the Winklevoss twins.
I don't know what that is.
You know,
Winklevoss?
Yeah, the ones that he, like, Mark Zuckerberg stole, quote unquote, stole Facebook from.
Oh, no.
He's one of the actors in this. He is like a Golden Globe nominee. He's been in Oscar-winning movies. Like, he's a A-list celebrity.
Okay. Don't know him.
Okay. I feel like you would recognize him if you saw him.
I was like, MC Hammer?
No. Okay, so like I said, he gets his kind of like, he's very much known for The Social Network. He's known for a couple other movies that I'll go into. Mm-hmm. But he was a very big deal in like the 2010s.
Okay.
So to kick things off, we need to talk about the Hammer family, because Armie Hammer comes from a huge and very wealthy dynasty.
I do know who he is.
Did you just look up a picture of him?
I did, because I was like, sorry, not to...
there better not be a spoiler on that.
No, there's a, because I watched a movie with him in it when I was on vacation a while back. And I was just looking up just because, and then controversy came up. So, okay. But anyway, sorry. It sounded familiar, so I was like, wait, actually.
Yeah, like very like clean shaven, like American looking kind of guy. But so he comes from a really rich family. Mm-hmm. Armie Hammer is the patriarch, the main person, and he is Armie's great-grandfather. And he's the whole OG of the family. He is a billionaire oil tycoon. He also owned Knoedler Publishing. And Knoedler Publishing was like this big art distributor. So like they had like Jackson Pollocks and just like crazy like art collections. And then he also had a film and TV production company. So he has like several different businesses, which is, they're all thriving. Mm-hmm. However, there's a lot of scandal around the Hammer family. Armie was accused of bribery, tax evasion, and having ties to Soviet spies during the Cold War.
Oh.
However, he's obsessed with building his legacy, and he was making sure it was known to the rest of the family to like uphold the Hammer name, even though he's doing all of this sketchy stuff.
Yeah.
So Michael Hammer, keeping the dysfunction alive. So Armie dies in 1990, and his grandson Michael inherited the family fortune. Michael, who is Armie's dad, was the one who took the reins really for the businesses. And he really, like I said, didn't break the cycle of dysfunction. Michael is known for his extravagant lifestyle. He has private jets, multi-million-dollar estates. He has yachts, like very trust fund kid going crazy the second that you get money.
Yeah.
But again, just like Armie, he's very much about like the Hammer family name. Mm-hmm. Like uphold the legacy. Your name means something. Mm-hmm. So Armie grew up in this world of just like unimaginable privilege. He is born in Santa Monica, California in 1986, and again, surrounded by absolute luxury. Mm-hmm. Again, big theme, Armie is taught about his family dynasty at a very young age. He was constantly reminded that the Hammer family name came with power, and that with that power, you could get away with almost anything. Okay, so now before we go any more into it, it's important to mention that Armie has claimed he experienced abuse as a child. He revealed in an interview that when he was 13 years old, he was sexually abused by a youth pastor at his church. He did say it was deeply traumatizing for him, but also changed the way he viewed power dynamics in relationships, given that we've talked about this a lot, adults hold a lot of power over kids.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So in an interview with Airmail, Armie said, "What that did for me was it introduced sexuality into my life in a way that it was completely out of my control. I was powerless in this situation. I had no agency in this situation." He went on to say, "My interest then went to, I want to have control in this situation sexually." Foreshadowing. Obviously, this is heavy and heartbreaking, like not making any excuses for Armie's actions later down the line, but we see this a lot with anybody who becomes aggressive in this way. Like normally there's some abuse in their childhood.
Yeah.
So we're going to fast forward to 2020. What did I say before too? It was like away or something.
Yeah, it was away plus something else, but I wish I remembered because I really liked the word that you came up with.
Okay, so as I said before, Armie gets his big role in The Social Network in 2010. He plays the Winklevoss twins, and critics loved him. Mm-hmm. Like, they viewed him as he was going to be the next big star. And so people are just like, basically every opportunity that could come to somebody like in Hollywood, like they're all knocking at his doors. But Armie's an idiot, and he makes some really poor decision making in the next roles. So in 2013, he starred in The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp, followed by a 2015 film, The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That's the one I saw.
Okay, but it's U-N-C-L-E, like it's spelled out like, yeah. But they're both box office flops, proving that Armie can't carry a movie on his own. And even with Johnny Depp, couldn't carry it. Like, the movies are just terrible.
I liked the movie.
Oh, you did? I don't think I've ever seen it. So I was just reading what the critics wrote, and it was rough.
Well, I'm definitely not a movie critic, but it was a pretty good
you know
movie.
what? I love Mr. Deeds, and that, like, people will talk crap about that movie, but I will quote that till the day I die. But again, they're like specifically going in on Armie. Like, they're criticizing his performance. Okay, so now comes Call Me By Your Name. And Call Me By Your Name is a 2017 film that all the award circuits were very excited about. It's based on a novel by the same name, and Armie plays alongside Timothée Chalamet.
Oh.
I know. So the film follows the development of their romantic relationship. So they play romantic partners in the movie. In the movie, Armie's character is 24, where Chalamet's is 17. Just in the movie, not like... Yeah. This role ultimately earns Armie a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Timothée is also nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor, and the film itself wins an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was very well received. So during this time, Armie becomes a very like media darling. Again, they keep having hopes for this guy. Like, he's got the looks. He kind of... I feel like I kind of laughed, though, that he only got a Golden Globe nomination and Timothée got the Oscar nomination.
They're like, you're good.
Just throw him a bone. Good enough. Yeah, just throw the guy a bone. Okay, so he's this media darling. Again, they all have like high hopes for him. People like think he's going to be the next best thing. He also starts posting, like, he's married, and he starts posting like this very orchestrated like family lifestyle on his Instagram. So Armie is married to Elizabeth Chambers, and she's a successful TV personality and entrepreneur, and she is stunning. And they have 2 kids together. They tied the knot around 2010, so they've been married for a while at this point. Yeah. So right around the time that he starts getting like The Social Network, that's when they got married. So they have the 2 kids, and they're constantly posting all the like quintessential perfect family Instagram posed pictures and stuff like that. Like, they have matching Halloween costumes and like matching pajamas for like the holidays. Like, somebody is definitely curating this like
picture perfect family
for him. So, however, all of a sudden in 2021, after 11 years of marriage, Elizabeth files for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and rumors start swarming about cheating on Armie's part. And this is like just the beginning. Like, cheating is the like just one drop in what's about. I wrote, Armie Hammer is about to get nailed.
Love that.
It's not my best work. Okay, so upon the news of the divorce and the rumors circulating around Armie's cheating on Elizabeth, women start speaking out. And the first woman is Effie, and she's kind of the most vocal. So I'm going to do more on her story. However, I do want to talk about there's a lot of trigger in this story. It is. So I'm going to say that the BDSM community is very respectful on like people's boundaries. And I was trying to read about this because I felt like it was a very sensitive subject. And they talk a lot about like, you have to be very comfortable with whatever partner that you're with and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like there is absolutely no shame in that type of behavior when it is done safe. Yeah, when it is done safely. Just know it's gonna be a little rough, and Effie's story is very hard to hear.
Okay.
So Effie is the first woman to publicly accuse Armie Hammer of abuse. This comes again at the news of the divorce, and she finally feels like there's a platform in which somebody might listen to her. She claimed to have met Armie in 2016 when she was just 20 years old. At the time, Armie was using a secret Instagram account to contact women, one that he kept hidden from his wife.
Ugh, creeper.
Armie's secret Instagram account was under the handle El Destructo.
El Destructo?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a
Tool.
loser.
Yeah.
Cornball.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this account, which he reportedly kept hidden again from his wife, it is really disturbing. He posted photos and videos that included graphic content about drug use, explicit references to his sexual exploits, and a lot of really disturbing photos of women in compromising positions. Effie said Armie used this account to contact her, and while she was unnerved by the content, the messages didn't match what she was seeing on the account. Like she was like, he was really sweet, and like she was very attracted to him. And at first she's saying like, I didn't actually believe it was him, and like that kind of thing. But like, again, their messages start out and she's like, okay, well, like the person isn't matching what I'm seeing here, you know?
Yeah.
And so they start an affair. They would even go on trips together, and he would post about their trips on the secret Instagram. So it was like he was almost like, this is a real relationship kind of thing.
Like a second
even though
life.
even though she could see that on his other account, like he's still with his wife.
Yeah.
Effie described how Armie's behavior, though, became increasingly controlling and violent during their relationship. He would push her to engage in aggressive and degrading acts in the bedroom, gradually escalating to like intensifying the demand. So like every single time she would be like, okay, like we'll do this, but I don't want to do that. And but he would then like push it the next notch. Yeah. She said she was feeling manipulated, and that Armie would kind of like be two different people. Like sometimes he'd be like the really charming guy that she was attracted to, but then other times she was almost like, I don't even recognize him. So again, upon the news of the divorce, Effie comes forward and alleged that specifically in April 2017, Armie violently assaulted her during one of their encounters. With the support of her attorney, Effie describes in a press conference the really disturbing experience. She said Armie repeatedly slammed her head against a wall during the assault, leaving her bruised, disoriented, and terrified.
My God.
Effie claimed the attack lasted for over 4 hours.
Jeez.
He beat her feet with a riding whip so that she wouldn't be able to run away.
What?
This is a quote from Effie. She says, I thought he was going to kill me. She says she felt trapped in a cycle of abuse where Armie would manipulate her. And she also shared the messages he'd send her. So like, remember I told you he'd be like really charming, but then he would have this like entirely different personality.
Yeah.
This is his other personality. It's rough. Okay. So these are the messages he would send her on Instagram. He says, I'm 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you.
Ew. Yeah.
He says, I need to drink your blood. And he starts writing fantasies of mutilation. He says, I want to cut off one of your toes and keep it with me in my pocket so I always have a piece of you.
Ew.
Yeah.
The fuck?
This guy is, it's gonna, I say this all the time, it's gonna get worse.
At the toe.
He says, you just live to obey and be my slave. I will own you. That's my soul, my brain, my spirit, my body. He says, you will be my property till you die.
What a psychopath.
Effie claimed that she felt these messages weren't just empty words. Armie used them to manipulate her into consenting to acts she wasn't comfortable with. And she said she felt powerless in the whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Also him being a big time actor and stuff, having an influence over her.
And he has so much money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another thing is are they going to come after me? Because
that's only what's documented. I'm sure being in that kind of relationship, she probably doesn't remember every single threat. You know what I mean? So
I also think there's a layer of horror. It's so scary because he's sending this via Instagram. It's all in writing.
Mm-hmm.
So she can take screenshots of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's just a level of cockiness of I don't care.
Yeah.
Take your screenshots. Try and touch me.
I will ruin you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the second story or the second woman that comes forward is Paige Lorenz. She's a model that also dated Armie in 2020, had an affair with Armie.
Mm-hmm.
She shared her own horrifying experience. She did say that she had kind of a similar thing where he was charming, but that he escalated very quickly into dark acts with her.
Mm-hmm. One
of them is that he allegedly carved his initials AH into her skin with a knife during one of their encounters.
Oh my God. Ew.
She said the incident was extremely painful and terrifying. She was almost frozen, and it left her feeling like she had no control over her own body.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, guys, I'm sharing this story because it's disgusting. It's horrifying. But again, I'm not trying to trigger anybody. So Paige also claimed that Armie expressed fantasies about breaking her ribs so he could eat them.
Oh my God.
And even suggested that she have her bottom rib surgically removed for him to consume.
The fuck? Sorry, I keep saying that.
No, it's an insane story. I don't know how yeah.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how this flew under the radar,
Yeah.
She also described him as being very obsessed with domination and control, saying he wanted her to be his slave and completely submissive. Again, he's pushing the boundaries every single time they have an encounter, similar to what he did with Effie. So she eventually ended the relationship, but she still says that she has lasting trauma and is still in therapy.
Sure.
Yeah. So in an interview that addresses the incident with Paige and the carving of his initials, Armie says, well, it was minor, no blood or anything.
The heck?
Yeah.
Crazy. I can't even.
Yeah. We're going to go into some of his interviews. Okay, so another one is Courtney Vucekovich. I feel like I did that pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounded right.
Vucekovich. She's another woman who comes forward, said that Armie would love bomb her to lure into a relationship. So again, similar MO.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be charming at first. He showered her with affection, gifts, and he made her really feel special. But once she was deeper into the relationship, his behavior took a very dark turn. Courtney claimed Armie would manipulate her into doing things she wasn't comfortable with, again, pushing her boundaries and using. This was another thing, is like he would sweet talk them, where they would like share things that they were really vulnerable about or like insecure about, and then he would use that against them.
Oh yeah, I could totally see
that. 100%. Like
sick.
Scumbag lesson 1.
Yeah.
Courtney also said Armie spoke openly about disturbing fantasies. He's got a thing for ribs, and he wanted her to remove her ribs so he could barbecue them. She said he also would call her like his perfect little pet. She also is still recovering from she ends the relationship, but is still recovering from the experience.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. There's a really good, and I'll put it in the show notes, but The House of Hammer is a docuseries, and it's like, it goes into even more detail. So like if this is too much, like don't watch that. But yeah, it's really well done. And all of these women are a part of it.
Okay. I was going to ask a question, but I'm just going to wait till you're done with the story because I feel like you're going to get to it.
Well, ask it. Maybe I don't.
Does he actually eat someone?
No.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure because I didn't, I know I looked it up, but I didn't look that into it. But just the fact that he's so intensely like into this, like I'm going to barbecue your ribs. And so it makes me wonder like if he would have, or if he did, or do you think it was more of a shock like factor type thing?
Well, there's no confirmed that he's ever actually eaten someone.
Yeah.
But like he talks about it. And again, we're going to talk about his interviews because this is where like the Sandoval thing comes in for me, because he just reminds me so much of him in the interviews.
Yeah.
And like there's something where he says like, well, yeah, like that's what like comedians do. Like you're just trying to like have shock value and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, but they don't like.
It's like they're trying to like justify everything. Like it's no big deal. This is just showbiz.
At one point in his interview, and this again, Sandoval line, he's like, well, I wasn't the first person to cheat on my wife.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not winning anybody over.
Yeah, like you're not justifying shit. Okay.
Exactly. Not that he would, I mean, he's not winning anybody over in any of this.
No way. Yeah.
Okay. So this is all hitting the media, and obviously Armie is like trying to deny everything. But Effie ends up opening a formal complaint with the LAPD against Armie, and she provides the screenshots of all of the messages that she received, as well as the testimonials from herself and the other women that were willing to come forward. And I believe there are more women. These were just the ones
that wanted to come forward. Yeah. It's probably scary coming forward.
I bet. Like again, a lot of power dynamics at play.
Yeah.
So in December 2021, the LAPD does look into it, and they submit their findings to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. However, no charges are filed due to insufficient evidence to prove the allegations beyond a reasonable doubt.
Come on.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like that's the sickest part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so while the decision was obviously a relief for Armie, it's a devastating blow to Effie and the other women who felt their stories had been dismissed by the justice system. This investigation highlighted the difficulties of prosecuting cases of sexual violence, especially when they involve an influential public figure. I feel like some money probably exchanged hands.
Most likely.
So for Effie and the other women, the lack of criminal charges didn't erase the trauma they endured or the impact of coming forward. Their bravery, their stories, and their ability to inspire others to try and come forward. Because again, Effie was the first one, and she finally got others to speak against him. So this is the other thing, is like she felt like she let them down.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which she absolutely did not. But
yeah.
Although Armie avoided legal consequences, the allegations and investigation effectively ended his Hollywood career. He makes reference to like the Me Too movement and how that it just took things too far. Like in his interviews.
Oh my God.
Of
course he would.
I was watching one and I was just like screaming at the TV. I was like, are these words actually coming out of your mouth? Like, you freaking...
This was in 2020?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so even though, like I said, even though he has no criminal charges, he's basically blacklisted. He loses... Yeah. Poor him. He loses out on some movies and stuff. Jesus. So again, as I said before, in full Sandoval fashion, he goes on the circuit to share how he has been victimized in this whole situation. He also does share that he had a lot of like abuse, substance abuse issues. And so like, I fully support people with like substance abuse, like getting help and like all of that stuff. But he blames this whole thing on the fact that he was like drinking too much and doing too much drugs.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like I'm all for people like being open about that stuff, but it's just like, that is not an excuse to do that to another human being. So
he takes zero accountability in every single like word. Yeah. Like,
sure. The fact that he's like trying to like go on this campaign of being a victim.
So whenever people like ask him about the cannibalism and stuff, he dodges the question so fast. Like he'll answer it with another question or be like, what does cannibalism even mean? Like, just like weird.
Like how? Like it'd be like being like, so you said you wanted to barbecue her ribs. He's like, have you never had barbecue ribs? Like, I don't understand.
Like you basically nailed it. Like that is like what he does. And
the reporter's like, not answer
like
that.
At one point somebody asks him like, well, what's your preference? And he's like, well, would you ask that to somebody who likes cilantro? And they're like,
oh my God.
What?
Like, that's crazy.
He's nuts. Also, he says he's being judged for his sexual preferences, which like no one is judging anyone. And this entire thing, like people are like, no, we're not judging you for like being into like BDSM and like that kind of thing. We're judging
you because you abused women.
Yeah. And like, so every interviewer is like, no, like,
yeah.
And again, like there's certainly nothing wrong with like that type of preference. Like, and again,
I'm sure the BDSM community doesn't want him.
They don't want him represented.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So in 2024, he does an interview with Piers Morgan where, okay, so this is just going to be a long dump of like all of the insanity in these interviews that he does.
I can't wait.
Okay, so Piers asks him who of his celebrity friends came to his side. He lists people like Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp, and like doubt it.
Okay, yeah, I'm like proof.
Yeah. Receipts, timeline,
screenshots,
which all the girls had.
True.
Okay. He also is asked point blank, "Are you a cannibal?" Which Hammer says, "You know what you have to do to be a cannibal? Eat people." And it's like, yeah,
we know what a cannibal is.
Like
you
that's what
idiots.
We're asking, did you do that? Morgan then asks Hammer whether he's ever eaten any human flesh, and Hammer laughs and goes, "Not a question I thought I'd have to answer." Which again, answer it.
Yeah. Also, why would you think you wouldn't have to answer that? You wrote it.
Okay, so I want to play a clip for you.
Okay.
And this is an interview clip with Louis Theroux, who he's a really famous, which understatement of saying he's really famous. He's a very well-renowned documentarian, and he's very much into like kind of like subculture. So he's been working since like 1988 or something, and he is he's very knowledgeable within this space. And there's even one point where like Armie, he says something to Armie. He's like, like I've made a lot of documentaries about this. And Armie goes, I know.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I'm going to play you a quick clip.
Okay.
Do you still consider yourself, your beach ball analogy, like, do you still consider that your sexual interests remain the same to some extent? That do you consider yourself part of the kink scene? Do you still feel as though that it would be dangerous to sublimate or repress some of those appetites that might be more outre?
Here's what I think my answer for this is. At that time in my life, I was doing almost everything in my life in a less than healthy way. There was an extremity to everything that I was doing, even the way that I ate. I mean, at that point in my life, I was probably eating several Big Macs a week because I loved the way they taste.
He's probably eating.
So I would go eat Big Macs as like an immediate gratification kind of thing. The unhealthiness in my life bled into everything. My sleep habits, my eating, the way I engaged with people, it was pervasive. Being in a healthier place in my life now, couldn't tell you the last time I engaged in some of the unhealthy behavior that I was doing before. And I'm really happy about that.
He does have a way of like making you forget what the question was. Because I was like, what was the question again?
Yes, like he does this, like that just really stood out to me because like he immediately like dodges it and like makes it like, well, I was really unhealthy. And the interviewer, and he's really good at it.
He sounds like a total like, I don't even know. Like it's so calculated and creepy, but there's like a creepiness to it because he's so like whatever about it. And like, yeah.
And he's like, I think I'm going to answer this way.
Yeah.
It's like, he's obviously been like very much media trained on how to like, or that's just like the manipulation in him naturally.
I feel like it's probably both. Because I feel like that it gave me the vibe of like, that's probably how he talked to the girls too.
Oh yeah,
like
sure.
very matter of fact, and I'm correct, and I'm gonna say all these words and talk in circles, so you forget what you're even asking me.
Very gaslighting.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And so like, and I love the interviewer's face where it's just like
he was like, he's kind of like looking down, like, is this guy for real right now?
Yeah. So Theroux also asks Armie at one point in the interview. And they're talking about like, again, he's going back to, he keeps bringing up like the Me Too movement and like cancel culture and like how he's been the victim of all of this. And Theroux goes, well, if you were to get offered a movie with Harvey Weinstein and Woody Allen, would you take it? And Armie goes, well, how much is it paying?
Of course he said that. I'm not even surprised.
And he laughs so hard. Like, he thinks he's so funny.
Creep.
He's skis bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I was writing, and I was just like, I had to keep writing all of these just like insane stories or like insane interview moments with him. Like, I'm just like, I cannot believe
that people exist like this.
Yes. Okay, so then there's also a story about his mom, Armie's mom, getting him a vasectomy for his birthday.
Oh, wow.
And this is in the same interview with Theroux. And Theroux goes, well, that's kind of odd, don't you think? And Armie responds, different strokes for different folks.
Oh my God. I can't.
So
bizarre.
So bizarre. Well, even grosser is he's still getting new projects. He's getting booked. And
so he wasn't blacklisted anymore?
Not blacklisted anymore because he didn't have any criminal charges.
And they just kind of moved past it and forgot about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gross.
So yeah, that is the horrifying true story. Oh, I have to legally say this. Alleged monster. Armie Hammer, because he wasn't
convicted. But I mean, there were still the screenshots. So, yeah. I mean, our opinion.
If you ask Heather Gay, all of the evidence is there.
Exactly. That was crazy.
Yeah. But he just, like, as I was watching more of his interviews, I was like, this is Tom Sandoval. Like, just so much of their mannerisms and, like, responses were insane. And, like, when we were at the Tea Party stuff yesterday, like, your friends were talking about Vanderpump and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I felt like it inspired.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, it's like that charm thing. Because I remember in the early seasons, I was like, I actually like him. But then, like, as the seasons go on, it's just like you kind of see, like, the patterns and, like, how Kristen's not the crazy. Well, he played her, but I mean, she was already in that, like, she already has that personality. But
there's magic.
But
there's magic in editing,
I think so too. That was the earlier seasons were the best. Yeah. What made you like pick that story?
Well, I wanted to do one that, like, you probably hadn't heard of before, because when we were talking, this is the other thing we didn't bring up. When we went to the tea party, we met up with some, like, obviously we talked about meeting up with some friends, but one of your friends was like, I like that you do the stories that, like, not everybody knows. Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to be like, this one's for Elena.
Oh, yeah, that's why I was gonna ask, because I mean,
it's not for Elena. Like,
no. Because I knew what you were talking about, like the story. Like, obviously, I didn't know his name, but I looked him up. I was like, oh, and I was like, that. It seems like such a random one, and like I had forgotten about it till you brought it up, but it's such a good one.
Yeah, like, again, like, I feel like it got, like, so brushed under the rug kind of thing that I don't know. I was trying to think, because that's, like, this makes me sound weird, but I like the ones that, like, are not, I guess, like, they're probably pretty well known within the true crime community, I guess. Like, I'm not, like, saying I know
but
them.
Other people, like, wouldn't really know. Yeah, because I didn't know, and I, like, briefly looked, so it's, like, really interested in hearing, like, this whole thing.
Yeah. But
yeah, that was a good one. That was a crazy one.
Yeah. Took a while.
I feel it flew by for me, because I was like, what's next? But yeah, so if, again, any scary stories you guys want to send in, Colleen.
IGSTTY stories stories@gmail.com.
Thank you. And then don't forget to rate our podcast, and you should leave a comment too.
Yeah, we want to hear comments. And I really liked when Tayler said that, you know, we know some friends and family that listen, and, like, I'll randomly get, like, a message from a friend, like, on Instagram. They're like, I listened to the podcast or something. Mm-hmm. But, well, maybe I shouldn't open my Instagram messages based on this. But we want to hear from, like, the people that we don't know. Like, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Like, tell us stories that you want us to cover. Like,
yeah, give us ideas if you want, or if you want us to tell them.
I forgot. I have to shout out Ashley, my friend Ashley. Mm-hmm. She wanted me to remind you that she was the one who originally made me watch Signs.
Thanks, Ashley. And then Colleen watched it on her own and tortured herself again. That's a good one. Yeah. And we also have a TikTok now.
Oh yeah.
And it's just IGSTTY pod. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also our Instagram.
Oh, yeah. That's also our Instagram name, too. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening.
So go follow us.
Go do it now.
What are you doing? We're 10 episodes in. Why haven't you done it yet?
I know. And also, I mean, I'm like making this longer. There's a big number of people that listen, and there's only like 8 reviews right now. Okay. Okay.
We know you're out there.
Thanks for listening.
Later.